Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We have Chris Funk joining us from his electronic iPhone.
Yay!
Hello.
And
Hello.
he's underwater,
it
looks like.
Yeah, I'm in a
Because of
blue room.
The blue and the way that your hand was flowing.
Yeah, I'm swimming.
You are like in theme with Salt Marsh.
I am in the salt marsh right
Yep.
now. That's right.
Nice.
I've fallen off the boat.
Is that what Portland's called now? The
The
Salt
Salt
Marsh?
Marsh.
It's the salt marsh. Yeah, we've given up on coffee and donuts, and we're into in food carts, and now we're into the salt marsh.
I like
and
it.
Fighting creatures in the deep.
I'm going to lobby
right.
to change.
Yeah, make it happen.
Make it happen.
How's it going down
Cool.
there? I know you've been busy recording a lot of music.
Yes, we are recording music here in the Pacific Northwest. It's alive and well. People still want to hear music, supposedly. And I'm speaking to you from my studio here in Portland, Oregon, and where my band, the Decemberists, recorded our record, and have a great studio down here, and have lots of artists visiting. I have an artist in town from Taiwan right now who's recording here.
What?
It's been really fun. Yeah, her name is Joanna Wang, and she's fantastic.
How does this happen? Artists just say, I want to come record in your studio? Or
Yeah,
do you put out a call like, I have a studio, need artists?
I don't know how they come. I mean, Joanna came through a friend, through people in Los Angeles, but I don't know. I think I'm a producer as well as a musician. And so sometimes I produce for people here, and then sometimes they come and record. So it's just sort of all over the map, just kind of like doing this for a long time and making friends along the way, much like the gaming industry, I suppose. You sort of fall into it and off you go. But
it's like all the entertainment industries. They're like little pockets, and then there's Venn diagrams of how they all intersect.
Can I ask you? Oh, sorry. Go on.
No, go ahead. I was just going to say that it's been interesting to, with my band having launched a game and coming in really strongly into the gaming world. It's very similar to the music world. It's very supportive. Like, you make friends for life through, which I know is a repeating theme in Dungeons and Dragons, but it's also true in music. These are all, you just find your people, and it's great to see that in gaming as well. Resemble the music community. Yeah.
It's like the art is like a common thread or something that brings people together.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, then that brought us together. The first time we spoke was for Illimat that you made with Keith Baker. And we were trying to think. That was like 2 years ago, wasn't it?
It was 2 years ago. Yeah.
It was Greg said it was before we started live streaming these interviews.
That's true.
Back in the dark ages.
I know, right? It's hard to remember, but it was.
We were just a podcast then.
It moves quickly.
Now we've won all of the potties.
Yeah. This is a potty award-winning show that you're on right now.
Oh, I did. Oh, awesome. Congratulations.
I mean, the competition is stiff.
Yeah.
But you and I have been talking over the last couple of months about putting together the music for D&D Live 2019, The Descent.
That's right. I'm really excited to do it. I'm excited to, use music in gaming whenever I can and be a part, using my musical acumen, quote unquote. I say that with tongue in cheek a little bit, but anytime I can bring music into the gaming realm, obviously very excited about that. Huge fan of D&D. Have 2 games going currently, and
nice.
Yeah, so I'm just meeting you all and kind of getting to peek behind the curtain of D&D is just kind of unthinkable to me, honestly, being a longtime player. So yeah, I'm very excited about this event, and it's going to be fantastic.
What so you're going to be playing as well as putting this all together, right?
That is correct. So, I will be. I dawned on me the other day as we were emailing Greg that I'm the D&D Paul Schaefer of this moment, maybe at my best.
Nice.
And I said that with great respect. The Bardish Paul Schaefer, and sorry, someone is calling me on my phone when I'm doing this. It's very unprofessional. Sorry, everyone.
All good.
And yeah, I guess it was like for the Descent, it was to have a musical moment, a celebration, and have music that maybe vaguely touched in the world of D&D, but also was just good music. So I think we have a good combination of both. Some people that are what I would call friends and family of the brand, of the game, from your world, and then people that I'm excited about, and it's going to be great.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about because Cardioid was one of the groups that you brought to the table, and I got to see them here in Seattle, and they were awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, Cardioid is a band from Los Angeles. It features Lizzie Ellison, who is also identified as a longtime Portland musician. She had a band called Radiation City, and Cardioid is her new project. And she was actually making a record here when this all started. And I mentioned this event to them as we were recording, and she was like, "I want to do that. Can I dress up?" And I was like, "Okay."
Wait, is she a D&D player, or she just thought the event sounded cool?
She has not. I don't think she's played D&D, but she wants to. And let me just say this: she wants to call her album fantasy metal.
Oh,
so I was like,
support
okay,
that.
yeah, she speaks fantasy. I'll say that. So they're very, very excited to do it. So Cardioid it's basically I would describe them as amazing vocals led by Lizzie Ellison with a really powerful rock band behind her. So we just finished her record, and yeah, they're going to be great. They're going to sort of be the house band, accompanying, backing up some other people, augmented by myself on the guitar and maybe something else too. So they're band number one. And should I just go down the line here?
Yeah,
I want to hear. I'm excited.
Great. We have the Mountain Goats, which I'm very excited about. So John is coming, and obviously you guys have a relationship with him. And I'm a huge, longtime fan of the Mountain Goats. He'll be playing, and backed by Cardioid and myself, I believe, as well.
Oh, cool.
Oh, nice.
We have the Library Bards, who do some pretty on the nose, as you can imagine, D&D centric music that I'm really excited about. We have Jason Charles Miller, who most people watching this should be familiar with. He's going to play, which is great because I've known Jason for a while, and I'm excited to play some music with him. The Bards of Greyhawk, probably not very D&D centric music. Just kidding.
Yeah, they got nothing to do with the brand. Total coincidence.
They're not excited about Saul Marsh at all.
No.
Yeah, no, exactly. Benjamin Looms. Greg, you can probably speak more to what. I don't want to ruin the surprise of what he's doing, but he's a friend of.
Yeah, he is the owner and kind of composer and creator of all of Sirenscape. So the app that you can use to, as a dungeon master, very quickly be like, all right, we're going to be in this tavern, and push a few buttons and you feel like you're in that tavern. Yep. We have recorded, Shelly and I, some of the vocals and sound effects. I think you were screaming woman.
I was crying woman. I was laughing woman. Yes, I think I screamed. I was also like a person in a tavern, which was like...
That's also on the nose.
That's not acting for me.
Yeah.
Were you just talking about getting to happy hour like about an hour ago?
An hour.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So he's heading up that company, but before he did that, he was a opera singer, and so I just happened to throw it him. I'm like, hey, do you want to do something? Chris Funk is putting together these bunch of acts. Do you want to do something? And he was like, yeah, I can do that. And he had this one idea, and I think it's really great. And I don't want to spoil it either, but I think it's going to be really great.
Yeah, and Sirenscape is great. I use it on one of my games, and as I meet him for the first time, I'm going to be vying for a job, and we'll be leaving the United States to go work for his company, I hope. So
well,
I want to make music for D&D all day.
Is the stuff that he does with just like a sound, the way he can distort it and turn it into something that like from the D&D world. Like it could just be any little normal sound. He just does amazing things.
Yeah, on the fly.
On the fly, yeah.
It's the best. It's the best soundscaping, underscoring, and music I've heard. There's been a few people try to do it, and if people are watching this, you should grab it. It's great.
Yeah.
So Benjamin's coming, and then last but not least, we have a band called The Magic Sword, who I'm very excited about, who are from Boise, Idaho, and I would describe them as fantasy daft punk. So they will be ending the evening to really take the party over the top. And I encourage people to hop on YouTube or go to their website and check them out. But it's going to be the way the room is going to look from what I've seen, from the way the band looks. It's going to be fantastic. So
yeah, I can't wait for that too.
So how did this work? Did you go to Chris and ask him to help curate this? Did you go to Greg and say, I have this idea. I want to be involved. Like, how'd this
Right.
come about?
I mean, I think because I've become friends with so many people at Wizards that I'm always like, hey, if you ever need help with music, don't forget about me. And Greg had approached me and said, we've got an event. Do you want to help?
Greg did not forget about you.
I did not.
He did not. Thank you,
You
Greg.
can't say that to Greg and not expect him to call you.
Yeah, right.
He will.
Don't you forget about me, Greg.
Don't you?
Exactly.
Simple Minds will also be playing.
That'd be amazing.
Bringing the band back together.
They might be.
Yeah.
It could have been D&D players. And
Yeah,
so,
but-
what was your role? And like, how did you had to like gather up all of these people and try to figure out how they're going to perform during this event?
Yeah, I think it was trying to find something that straddled the line between something that was on brand or on theme, if you will. So something like Magic Sword, but maybe not too on the nose. And then also people that were just, Greg recommended some people that were friends who are musicians. It's always, we didn't want to have just a cast of artists that did not identify or play the game or whatever. So
Right.
I think we have a good sort of casting the net wide here, and we just sort of reviewed with Greg and chipped away at it, and tried to see what was appropriate and what would really, to me, this moment is a celebration. It's an end of the weekend.
Yeah.
So it's like, what would be fun too? We talked about, because of the theme that I won't go too much into, but talked about for a moment of having like metal bands, which has been, made surfaces in D&D from time to time, and just kind of realizing that, it might just clear the room and not feel as fun. So,
This variety is good.
Yeah.
And having some variety and trying to be diverse in our selection of music, realizing that I have a certain style of music I listen to, but also realizing I like all kinds of music and all kinds of people are playing D&D now, and it should try not to exclude. So there was a lot of mindfulness around that as well.
You did tell me that one band that I was like, you're right. It's very metally.
Yeah. There was, it might have been The Sword, I think it was.
Yeah.
Or
I was like,
yeah.
I respect the musicianship, but I was, there was the thought that you had too. I was like, I think that might end up, either half the people will be headbanging and not paying attention, or vice versa.
Yeah. Because we are in a studio, so there's a consideration of the people there that we want everybody to have fun and not have their ears blown off. So I think The Sword would be great for your game at home.
Yeah.
To underscore your game, but maybe not for our event this time.
Yeah. And then, we also have Dan Telfer, a comedian, who will be kind of guiding us through these different acts. This is all going to be live streamed. It's going to be different than a concert per se. So there's, a normal ebb and flow of a concert has some downtime on stage, and that's kind of okay. But because this is going to be in front of a camera, we wanted to kind of keep the entertainment level up and going. And so Dan, who is the Dungeon Master and a comedian from Nerd Poker, he will be kind of tying between these acts as they go between things, and showcasing some of the fun cosplay. I think that will be on display.
Oh, very nice.
For the whole weekend. So yeah, you're right. Like, it's my goal was always to make it this celebration of like, all right, we're done. This is it. Everybody love Dungeons and Dragons and go forth and conquer.
Yeah, and I love that it is indeed live and it's streaming. It feels old school somehow to actually stream something live and kind of frankly have a little bit of pressure to perform. That's when stuff is always it'll when it goes right, it's great, and when it goes wrong, it'll probably be fun too. Hopefully it won't.
Are you the type of? I always had friends who were musicians who they would be like talking about like the show, and I would go and I'd be like, oh my god, that was so awesome, and then he'd be like, oh man, I screwed up on the end of that song, and this guy messed up the timing there, and he would just like recount all of the ways that it screwed up. Are you like that when you're performing?
Yeah, I mean, with our band, I think our songs are we're not a jam band. There's not a lot of room for improvisation, so it's I don't want to call it pop music, but it follows pop music in the sense that it's like 3 minutes, and when the songs aren't 3 minutes, they're more of the epic side of the Decemberists, right? So all this to say, we also grew up listening to the Replacements and bands that probably got a hall pass because they did some drinking. I think we identify as a rock band, so in that we allow ourselves some flexibility, which makes it fun. So yes, we make mistakes, and yes, there are times where you might get a glance from somebody on stage, and they're like, "What are you doing, dude?"
Bring it back.
Yeah, but it is sort of like baseball. That it's really about, like, touring is kind of, it's a long season, so to speak, right? So, and that's why you go see a band, is to share in that moment with them or see them live, and it's not always going to go perfectly, and I think that's okay. That's part of the experience.
It actually sounds an awful lot like Dungeons and Dragons as well.
Right.
It is a long season. Your game can go on for a while, and sometimes things don't go as planned, and sometimes you get that same look from a person across the table. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Why'd you cast that spell?
And dungeon masters need to be flexible. If someone's not going to turn left and they want to turn right, they better be prepared to improv there. So, right.
That was my downfall. That was my one-time DMing downfall.
That's exactly what happened to you.
Go left. Go left.
Go left. That's right.
I didn't know what was right. Do you DM, or are you more of a player?
I'm more of a player, but I DM for children. I DM my daughter and her friends, so I have a very forgiving audience. And,
really?
It's really fun. Yeah, it's actually 3 girls, age 10 to 13, and then 2 of their the parents of the other girls. I have a daughter, and it's great. They're so into the story and the fantasy, and one of them is really into being crunchy about numbers and statistics and characters, but it's a lot of storytelling and just, like, talk about being flexible, like, just letting the stories run wild, and they're 100% in. They love it.
That is so cool. How long have you been DMing for them?
For about 2 years.
Oh, cool.
And we're stuck somewhere in the Yawning Portal right now. I can't remember which level. And the Sunless Citadel they're stuck in right now. And actually 2 of the girls came with me to Mexico, and we popped out and had a Mayan setting for a moment, and kind of went off to some other areas. But it's really fun. Yeah.
That's very cool.
And then as a player, I'm actually playing. I'd never played the Curse of the Strahd, so we're deep into that right now with a lot of new players, and we play actually in this studio building.
Nice.
And we have my friend Max. Shout out to Max.
Go Max!
Hey, Max.
He's an excellent DM, and I'm starting another game on Tuesday as a player as well. So
starting another one.
Yeah, starting another one.
And making a record, and then touring,
and then coming to D&D Live,
and then curating music for D&D Live.
D&D, playing D&D is the great escape. It's the great relaxation. So I look forward to that. And all this other stuff, fortunately, is great relaxation too. So I'm very blessed to make records and make music, even though it is technically my job, and tour in a rock band and all these things.
It's a pretty cool job.
It's a pretty cool job. It's still feels like a job sometimes.
Yep.
And then playing D&D never feels like a job. So I wonder how that feels for you guys, being on the other side of that.
I mean, putting together a show like this can often feel like, oh my gosh, there is so many moving parts, but it's also really exhilarating. I mean, it's not like, it's a one-to-one comparison, but I often do think of it like, oh, I'm dungeon mastering this event and making sure everybody has fun and getting
a good way to look
their
at it.
input and their thing. Like, it's not like I'm dictating everything. It's like it's all a two-way street kind of there. So that a part of it I really enjoy, but there are definitely times where it's like, oh gosh, are we really going to be just talking about D&D all day? Well, yeah, we are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what me and Shelly talk about sharding as much as we can.
Yeah, we like to talk about potties and shards.
I didn't know we could go there. This is great.
we follow all different rules. Who knows?
I love your potty cast. It's great.
We also we have kids younger than yours, so I'm a little bit jealous of the ages that your daughters are at. Mine are 8 and 5 at this point. So
you'll get there.
Yeah, very soon. We played a few times, but I want to get more on the regular.
Yeah, it's like a Sunday morning doing that with your family is it's great. To have that opportunity is fantastic.
It's our church.
Sunday morning D&D.
Yeah.
Do it,
The
and
church,
then have Quinn. Can he play with you?
Of course, Quinn can play. Yeah, that'd be great.
He'll do better if it's not us.
So you're gonna try and play some D&D while you're here for D&D Live, right?
I am. Yeah, I'm excited. I wish I could talk about what it is we're going to be playing, but that's
soon.
And I don't know. Yeah, so I'm very excited. Yes, I am going to do some playing.
That's
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
always.
I can't wait. I can't wait to talk about it. There's so much to talk about. You're like literally keeping your lips together so that you don't.
I just want to say it.
Spill the beans.
Don't blurt it out. That's right.
Okay.
Did
it just get really hot in here?
It did get really hot in here from all the exhalation. So yeah, I'm excited too. I want people to be able to experience everything that we're planning and getting going. We're at that moment where like a week away, where it's like, okay, if it's something we've been working on and planning for so long, and now I just want it to happen.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, for those viewers at home or streaming, it is just sitting from my perch in the musical chair. It is a major undertaking that you're on there, Greg. So kudos to you, and I hope already watches, because it's I've seen the round of applause.
Slow clap. Thanks, Shelley.
It's going to be awesome.
Here for you.
It's going to look awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah, good job. I'm glad that you guys are doing this. It's awesome.
Well, I'm glad you're doing this.
I think you should take it on the road.
Yeah.
That's not the first time. But yeah, I love that idea of having like these little pop-up events at different areas and cities, around the country, but then around the world. I think that would be really cool.
It was my dream to be a road manager.
Really?
Yeah. That's what I wanted to do. So I can help you with that.
Pass it off to her, Greg, and you can sit back and be like more of the creative director of the experience.
Although, I was like in my 20s, so.
Well, that's right, because you were interning at Sub Pop. That's where before you started here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow! Really?
I just wanted to go on tour.
Nice. Well, it's never too late.
It's not. I don't know what my kid would think, but.
Do you like sleep?
I do. See, I don't like. Yeah. I'm like a nester. I like to have I like to unpack, and so like in hindsight, I'm like I would have hated that job. Like I like to be in one place and plant roots, unpacking stuff. It wouldn't have been good for me.
You should stay at Wizards of the Coast. Then,
yeah.
I think better sleep.
Don't quit your day job.
Don't quit your day job. You've got a good day job. I'm envious of it.
It is. It's a pretty good day job, for sure.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So I know we've probably talked about this when we talked to you a couple years ago, but I don't remember how you were introduced to Dungeons and Dragons. You said you've been playing for a long time.
Yeah, I am era Stranger Things. I'm.
So that resonated with you.
In my 40s, I'll say absolutely. I was that kid with the bowl cut playing D&D, playing advanced D&D. Went to the hobby shop and just looked at those covers, mystified at how to play, and bought them. And my friends and I tried to play, and we had our neighbor who knew how to DM really well, and he was a few years older than us, and we played a lot, and then kind of fizzled out through high school, and actually played in college. So played 3 or 3.5 in college as well. So I grew up in the Midwest, so like the ground zero mecca, even though I know D&D was far reaching in those eras, but I don't know, it felt like, maybe it's just me looking back, I feel like because I was close to Wisconsin or something that we had more of it. I don't think that's true at all. I'm making that up. That's what I'd like to believe, though.
I think it is kind of true. Because we went to GaryCon, and it definitely felt like there was just this concentration of people who at least knew about it a little bit more in the Wisconsin Midwest area because of advertising of Gen Con and all those type of things. Like it just felt like it was much more of the consciousness there. Yeah. And my family would actually, I grew up going to Lake Geneva, but not knowing that at all, because you just couldn't get that kind of research or whatever. I would look at it on the backs of the books, but I never connected the two, that this vacation spot for people from the Chicago area was the ground zero for this game.
I know, it's still weird to think of.
Yeah. It's so cool. Or once at one time was ground zero. So yeah, it was a cultural movement then, obviously. We all know the story, and it was a cartoon when I was a kid on television. And whether you fully knew how to play or not, because the rules now, I think it's interesting, like playing with my kid and her friends, they can, 5th edition is so great because they can just jump right in, and it can be a little crunchy and it can be a little mathy, but you don't need to understand it all and get bogged down to have a great time playing it. So had we had 5th edition, then I would have been playing, all those years. It's so well done now. So good job.
Huh.
We'll take that.
Yeah, that's us.
That was us. Okay, thanks.
And I think also the all the adventures that are coming out are just fantastic too. There's so much material happening, and there's so much world building happening, and you can just read about D&D all day and just enjoy it as like fantasy literature even. But it's just so much more than these like 3-page booklets with obscure adventures and kind of bad statistics, with like a really cool cover. So yeah. It's come a long way.
I've heard a lot of people say recently too, of like, oh, it was in its heyday in the 80s. Kind of what you're talking about. It was a cartoon. And it was all these things. But I wonder. I mean, we're looking at numbers of sales and things like that, and we're like, we're pretty sure it's right now surpassing some of those sales numbers. But there's still that idea that there was this cultural thing happening. But I wonder, maybe you can speak to it a little bit, is like how much of that is in hindsight? How much is that just from people who are like, oh, everybody knew about Voltron, but what did they really, or did we just talk about it in our specific schoolyard, or like did people know about D&D?
Oh yeah, or our worlds were much smaller then, so it might have felt
there was
like
only
everybody...
5 channels, or 20 channels.
I think now it's, to me, having when I'm able to access that same nostalgia, it feels like true nostalgia and not really understanding the game when I was young. So to me, it's like the game as a board gamer, as an RPG lover, it's just so much more sophisticated and simple now, and it's been so well thought out. And the level of, no disrespect to the early writers and artists of D&D, and we all love the pencil drawings from neighborhood kids in Lake Geneva and whatnot. Like I love them. Like I love it, but it's just more real somehow to me, and engages when I want a high level of fantasy, when I want to check out of my day and play a game for real. It's more encompassing and it's more thought out, while at the same time being really flexible again for people to improv and just have a fun night of creating a movie in your living room. I think it's so much better. So I respect the nostalgia. I don't think 3 was the pinnacle, the ultimate moment of, or 3.5 was the ultimate moment of D&D. I understand why people like that, but just depends which way you want to go. I still think you can make a game of 5 really crunchy and number heavy if you want, and develop it that way. But I just think the level of writing of the adventures right now, all the people you have there are doing a great job. And they just, even watching from the beginning of 5 when it was released, was it 2016 now?
2014.
2014. Oh my God. Just the quality of writing has gotten better. The stories are better, and it's great to see. And it's great to see you guys releasing so much material too. I think often we see RPG companies like sort of, come out with guns blazing and then they sort of peter off, and it just seems like it's growing and growing. So
that's funny you say the amount of material, because I think that was one of the things that fans said back in 2014 was like, oh, you guys are only releasing 3 books a year.
Yeah.
But but those 3 books were very meaty, right? Like they were, they had, like, as you're saying, like Curse of Strahd's, it's a 250-page book, and it's got all of these things that could basically last you for 2 years if you're playing weekly. Yeah. So it feels less like the 16-page modules that came out back in the day, and like the fact that we're basically releasing, 2 to 3 years of content, 3 times a year.
Right. And I love all the, the ancillary books, the Volo, Xanthar, like the Sword Coast. It's all of that stuff is great to have too, to read and continue to the world. And if you want to, play in the Forgotten Realms, I think it's fantastic, which I do.
Excellent. Have you ever been to GaryCon?
I haven't. I
feel like you should go.
I'm gonna go. I put it on my calendar every year, and then life takes over.
Yeah.
I put it on my calendar every year. I'm going to go. I will go next year. I feel like I've missed the window though, where it was like, I imagine it being at like some Midwestern Red Lion or something, which tugs on my heartstrings greatly. And maybe it still is. I don't know. I want it to be like that. And
I think it is. I mean, it's awesome. The Lake Geneva Resort.
Right.
Right. That's where
it
is.
Cool. I know where that's at.
Yeah. It does kind of feel like it's just like they just take over the resort, and it's like going back in time.
Old school.
Yeah.
I like that. I mean, I love PAX. I love the big festivals. I love Gen Con. But there's something that and it's cool to see you guys engage now and see like Satine, the people that I consider to be like D&D rock stars engaging, because they're just actually great lovers of the game, starting to go to that festival, but it's still, or
convention.
Yeah.
Convention, thank you. Music, gaming. So it still feels small to me somehow, and I don't know. I'm going to go. I'll go next year. I'm putting it down here, so I will go.
Nice. You said it publicly now, so everyone's.
So it's out to the universe.
We'll tell Luke Gygax to send you an invite.
I'm sure he listens.
You can't turn him down.
Okay. Hi, Luke.
He would be very hard to say no to.
Yeah, and then maybe obviously I like that we're bringing in music to D&D Live, but I think there is much more crossover between music and D&D and gaming at events like GaryCon or anything that maybe that's part of it. You can do a little celebration there too.
I'm down. Let's do it.
Maybe this is our we're starting this tour right now with D&D Live, and then we'll go to all these conventions.
You don't know what you got yourself into, Chris, by saying yes to Greg.
Let's do it. Let's get a tent. Let's put a tent up. The circus is coming to town. Let's do it.
So when you were that kid playing in the Midwest playing D&D or learning how to play D&D, were you also a musician at that time, or had your interest in music peaked?
Yes, I was playing music. I grew up, where did it start? My parent, I went to Midwestern church, and my parents were both sang in choir. My dad was a great tenor, and never did anything with it, but still could make people cry in church. And he was a great singer. So I think it started there, honestly, like going and listening to choir rehearsals, and then eventually playing piano. And then my brother and sister were both older than I was by 12 and 15 years. So dipping into their record collection, and then started really at an early age developing my own interest in music that I would describe as like new wave or punk rock, just to be different from my classic rock loving brother. And my mom always had a Casio keyboard around the house, and I remember just trying to make like a Devo song happen on the Casio. But and then eventually my parents pushing me to go into, I'm a total band nerd, played in high school bands and jazz bands and all of that. So product of the Indiana public school band programs for sure, which were great. But ever thinking that I could use like bring this into the RPG world? No,
I know,
never.
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, no, it's fun, and it's fun to start thinking about that, or in Sirenscape, or thinking about other ways to engage music and in RPG and Dungeons and Dragons in particular is exciting.
Do you like playing bards when you're playing?
I've never played a bard, but I'm going to roll up a bard next Tuesday and play a bard. I've never played a bard. Yeah, never.
It's not fantasy for you.
I know. It's
like playing a human.
And people that play bards, the bard gets the piss taken out of the character often, and people swear by the bard. People love bards, so I'm going to bard up.
Barding up.
You could do you could be like the acrobat bard, though. You don't necessarily have to be the musician plucking away on a lute or something like that. You can do the oratory.
I want to bring an instrument and jam at the table.
That's pretty cool.
That would be super cool.
Yeah, I've seen it done. I'm into it.
I love how artists, who are, able to draw and do stuff, and they bring that into the game. And so I love having someone who's actually able to play music. Like, that just heightens the experience for everybody.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
There was at GaryCon, Greg and I got to go this year. I was in a game with Jason Charles Miller.
Oh.
And he actually wrote an original song.
Of course he did.
Yeah. And then performed it at the table. And I was like, I can do voice. I got nothing.
I can do hand
literally
signals.
Bringing nothing to this table, and he's just, let me just perform the original song that I just wrote for this very moment
as my bard character.
Yeah. It's like
I would classify
cool,
that as that's pandering for inspiration points. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, Satine was our DM, and he wrote it for her.
See?
So I hope she gave him lots of inspiration.
Precisely.
Yep. I just wanted to crawl under the table. I'm like, I'm not worthy of any of this.
You're like, I can make puppets.
My face is painted. I got cat makeup on because I'm playing a tabaxi.
Nice. Awesome.
That was good.
I tried.
You brought your charm.
I tried.
That's very important.
Yeah. Whatevs.
Awesome. I'm playing with a tabaxi right now. I'm not a tabaxi, but we have a tabaxi in our game. It's cool. I like it. I like the tabaxi.
Mm-hmm. I liked the tabaxi too. When I had a brother, a litter mate.
Yes.
Who then just abandoned me.
Oh, where you split off from the party?
We had a short-lived campaign that was run by Bart Carroll, who's right in front of us. His fault that we stopped it. But we only did like 3 or 4 sessions, and then we were starting up another campaign. And
I brought my tabaxi back, thinking that her brother was going to come too.
And I made a different character.
He made a different character and would never tell me what happened to my brother.
That's why.
God.
We got to go back to it. We got to figure out the story. What happened to Daryl Two Shoes?
You actually gave Drunky Two Shoes has an excellent backstory now, though.
That's right.
She just wants to know what happened to her brother.
There was 2 shoes, and now there's only 1.
That sounds like a mission right there.
Right.
Find Runky 2 Shoes.
What are the characters that your daughter and her friends are playing? I feel like tabaxis would appeal to 10-year-olds.
My daughter. So tabaxi did not exist until after we started that game, I believe. She has a familiar that is a cat, actually. She's playing a fighter. She's a human fighter. So
she gets a familiar as a human
fighter?
She gets
I've allowed familiars, much to my chagrin, because the familiars are take over the story for about a half hour.
You are a good dungeon master.
Yeah. I'm like, all right.
That was a good dad rubbing of the forehead.
No. Like one point of damage. You're never going to kill this thing with your familiar, okay?
Oh, that's so cute.
We have, what else do we have? We have elf, gnome, barb. We have kind of the classics, actually. They started actually with the pre-gens that came with the
starter set.
Oh yeah,
the set, yeah. And they've sort of modulated them, and I'm going to allow them to multi-class, multi-race, maybe even if that's possible. So
you're a good dungeon master. What can I say?
Yeah.
You got to please the people.
Did you start with the Lost Mines of Phandelver and then go on from there?
We did Lost Mines of Phandelver, and then they entered the Yawning Portal, and they paid the money, and down they went down the chute. So
nice.
into the mountain they went. So it's fun. I think I could see them. I have yet to play the Dragon Heist adventure, but I think we're going to try to slide over to that. So,
well, being there in the Yawning Portal, that makes sense.
Yeah, precisely.
Yeah,
but they really enjoy puzzles, riddles. So I'll drop some to the game as well. Make a door overly complex sometime with some sort of riddle or something like that. So that's their jam.
They like that. They like kind of crowdsourcing the solution for that.
Yeah, and they actually really love killing things too, it turns out. So I have some fierce young women in my iron. Yeah.
Train them up.
Yep, that's awesome.
I like that.
So what are you going to do next year when this event, after the huge success of this event, and you have musicians from all over the world calling you and saying, I want to be in it next year. I want to do it next year. I want to be at the D&D Live next year.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Gonna say, we're going to do like Coachella and do a double weekender.
Yeah.
And Greg will never see the light of day again.
It's possible.
Are there dogs being murdered back there? What's
up? Yeah, is this a puppy mill? What's going on?
Yeah, there's a puppy mill here. There's dogs being murdered. It was actually a Sirenscape insert.
I thought you pressed there.
Could be one of the bands that are you're producing, practicing.
Yeah. It did sound a little Yoko Ono-ish.
Yeah, sorry. I have a new puppy here. I'm wondering what's happening, but it sounds like it's handled.
Yeah, it totally sounds like it's handled.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's okay. It's all good.
I'm a great D&D father, horrible puppy father, it turns out.
That's a whole new thing.
Puppies, I think, are even harder.
Yeah.
That's why I like the old ones.
They are. I have this dog. It's a Schipperke, which is a small looking sort of. It looks like when it grows older, it'll look like some sort of wolf.
Yep, I know. They're adorbs.
You know that, yeah. And I remember picking the dog up and just being like, "Oh my god, I haven't done this in so long. What have I done?" Puppy land. Here we go. So
that is tough.
It
is. I don't know how if I could. I mean, I just got past the stage with my kids of not having to clean up their excrement. And I'm like, I don't want to do that for anything else ever again.
In the middle of the night to like tend to them.
Yeah,
because you got to do that for puppies. They can't hold it.
Oh yeah.
Or the no biting. It's like kids all over again.
Although I did see a video recently where it was like this little toddler kid with like a litter of like 10 puppies that were all jumping all over him, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
It's not like that all the time.
It's not like that all the time.
Yeah, puppies will pee in your bed, folks, if you're listening right now. So just take it from Chris Funk. Puppies will pee in your bed. Dump them in your bed. They like to pee.
That's the PSA we need to get out there.
Yeah,
Dr. Chris Funk, veterinarian.
It's an important message. It's an important message the world needs to know about.
Adopt a senior dog.
It's funny, there's the Tabaxi, which are obviously the cat people, but there are no like anthropomorphic dog race yet for Dungeons and Dragons.
Like a wolf person, that would be cool.
Well, yeah, I guess there's werewolves.
But you can't play one.
Yeah.
Can you?
I mean, you could probably hack that together.
You could hack it together, but not recognized yet.
Chris would let you in his game. He
I
lets
would
anything happen.
You could play the werewolf and have a human familiar.
Yes.
Oh my god, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
that would be
that
weird.
sounds strange, actually. Maybe not.
Maybe that's a horror game you're talking about.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So the humans are subservient to the animal world. That sounds kind of cool.
What's it like? Because now I'm intrigued by this game of playing with the daughters and the adults at the same time. What's that like? Balancing those two audiences, I guess you might say.
Right. I think the two parents have never played before, so they're like kind of like trying to figure out numbers and whatnot. And then I think we just let the girls lead. And in terms of like how the game is going to go, is it going to be more combat heavy or more story heavy? And for me, it's really finding that they want to hear a lot of narration. They want to hear a lot of descriptors. They want to hear, like I said earlier, have more puzzles. So I'm sort of like always tailoring it to pique interest and keep interest. So I think all the parents, we're just excited they're playing, and the two other girls' parents are over the moon that they're playing. In fact, I just actually got a text yesterday that one of the younger daughters is writing a paper on Dungeons and Dragons for school.
Oh, she's got the
We're
bug.
so excited. Yeah, it's very cute. So I think it's just, sitting around a table, all five of us and or six of us, and playing is, it's the classic, it's shared time. So the parents are happy that the kids are interested, and we're all spending 4 to 6. We play long games too. We'll do 4 to 6 hours.
Oh wow!
Wow, really?
Yeah, everybody's fully in. So everybody's happy.
And you said they were new players. So like, what was the learning curve like for them? Was it reluctance and then acceptance, or what?
Yeah, no, I think because I just plunged people in, and I was like, don't worry about, I'll just tell you when to roll, or I'll tell you what to do. Just focus on rolling the D20 and like what it is you want to do, and sort of just simplifying it. And as we went along, eventually they're buying the books and they're starting to read on their own and kind of
wow.
So I think really when you have new players, it's just getting people playing as quickly as possible. I think doing it the old way and like rolling up a character, actually rolling a character up is important, even though again we use the pre-gens, but I think that's fun because you get to understand what all the statistics do and are for, and then it's overwhelming, and then you say, hey, let's pull back and let's talk story. Let's really make this about the story here.
Nice.
So there's some really good books for them coming out, the Young Adventurers guides that are actually tailored for a younger audience.
Oh, awesome.
And there's ones about creatures and monsters, warriors.
And, that's why I have this document.
Anyway, they're coming out, I think, next month or in July.
Weapons and warriors.
And then there'll be a couple more coming out in the fall.
That's right.
Awesome.
And they're awesome. Jim Zub wrote those. And it's just like pulling the key information from all of the lore that's out there and just distilling it into like one page, like about a beholder, and this is where beholders live, and this is the kind of thing they do, and how to fight a beholder. What do you need to know about a beholder?
Awesome.
Like I find it interesting because I'm still learning so much about D&D that this is like, perfect information, bite size.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of adults that will want to read that, frankly.
Yes, for sure.
And why not? That's great.
Yep.
Yeah, it's about introducing the concepts like in a way that the player's handbook doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it is interesting looking back to when I was a kid and with the material at the time, which I think everybody would agree is respectful. And I say this respectfully it was dense and it was, always a work in progress, right, to the next edition. And looking at the books now, I mean, I think a kid has to be like, a good reader and truly interested to make it through the player's handbook. But that said, I think it's well written enough that you could read certain, the first few pages, but having something that was for the player who was like 5 years old or something, or to 6 years old, because they're out there, and just kind of get them immersed in the world and hooked in is awesome. So I'm glad you're doing that.
Start them young.
Yeah.
Start young. That's right.
So do you have any more games that you're working on outside of D&D?
My daughter and I actually have a game that we've actually kind of been working on. It's a game that is that I don't know if we'll ever finish it. I have another friend who's a game designer who is sort of tasked with taking what we came together with and see if we can actually kickstart it and put it out. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun. It started with she and I a few years ago. It was themed a witch game.
Oh, I already like it. I love witches.
Sort of a quick battle game, basically. So it's like villagers versus the witch, which is up for debate if that's, maybe it should be a hag instead of a witch or a warlock.
There you go.
We'll get into that later. But no Decemberist games currently, unfortunately. Maybe some expansions for Illimat coming out, but mainly making records right now.
I know. I mean, it's not like you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
You're busy. Yeah. I get it.
I felt stressed out. I should have something to show for that question.
You're doing other things.
Yeah.
I do like this witch idea though.
I do too.
Right now, I hope who is the designer that you threw to? Is it someone that we know?
I've thrown it to a couple people, and you might know one of them, and basically just gotten feedback at this point, and kind of got on a schedule to actually sort of realize it and kickstart it. And then my band went on tour, so shelved it. And I think we'll start working on it again in the fall because I think it has legs.
Nice.
I think it'll work.
We were wondering about the Keith Baker Portland connection, so that's what I was wondering about.
I mean, he's a busy guy. He's got his own
guy.
Yeah, and he's got some stuff here and there that you might know about, you might not know about. But he's got his own company, and he's since, I'm not saying because we worked with him, but it seems like there's a few bands poking around with him now too. Which is
he's going to be
it's totally
official...
because you worked with him. What are you saying about?
This is what's going to happen with D&D Live.
Yeah, that's
starting a trend.
Live Nation is going to be calling you guys any minute.
I'm telling you, if Def Leppard or Motley Crue says they want to come, you're signing them up.
Nice.
They will be there.
The Dirt.
How do you feel about
Live?
What about Whitesnake?
Oh, Whitesnake, yeah.
Okay, I defined Shelley's threshold for hair metal there. So
right. I do have a threshold. I wouldn't turn them away, but
right.
It's not
like you go on tour with them or anything.
I would not be their tour manager. Skid Row. Yes.
Wait, are they still around?
I don't know.
I'm sure.
18 in Life.
18 in Life, baby.
I remember my friend, it's total diversion, but I think it was like Joseph in the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. Like Sebastian Bach was in it. He was the lead in it.
I remember that.
She got me tickets because it was coming to Seattle, and we were like, this is as close to Skid Row as we're going to get. And
nice.
He got kicked off the tour like the day before. He did something stupid. Like I think he peed on stage or something, or he mimicked peeing on stage. I don't know what he did, but they were like, no.
You cannot improv with this religious show.
Yes. Especially not that.
He went into full rock mode.
And then
he went into rock mode.
Yeah. So he's like, I'm in New Haven. I'm Jim Morrison.
3 days later, he was coming to Seattle. I'm like, God damn it. Jody and I went to the show, and we were like,
oh,
this is supposed to be Sebastian.
This understudy stuck.
You're not Sebastian Bach. But anyway. I digress.
I know, right? Well, maybe we can get him to come back and he'll do a musical for us.
They could have played D&D. You don't know. You don't know what
true.
their childhoods were like.
I want to see Shelley's short list next year for the hair metal people or the metal people. One of them will come down from the ceiling, singing right to you, Shelley Manzanoble.
I will die.
I'm saying here.
I'm dying.
Yeah.
Nice. You're making a lot of promises.
And it's also cool because you just invited me to D&D Live next year. So I'm going.
Nice. You're in. You are in. Well, I can't wait. I can't believe this is happening so soon. It is going to be super fun. Thank you so much for all of the work you've been putting together to help make this music performance at the end of it really, really sing.
Thanks for including me.
Oh, you're included forever now.
Awesome. I'm in.
You signed a pact.
How can people find out about what you personally are doing, all those crazy projects that you're talking about?
Oh my God. I don't know. I have a website that's sorely not updated. I don't know. Follow me on Instagram at Mr. Chris Funk. I'd say Instagram's the best way.
Yeah, that's the one you update the most?
I think so.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now I want to see all the pictures of what happens at those D&D games.
Oh my God. They're up there and I'll put more up.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
Lots of familiars running around the room. Nothing. No one's getting down the hallway. Kind of vibe, you know. Nothing's getting done.
Along with the little puppies.
Yep.
That's right. Puppy torture's happening. I'm gonna go.
I hope that puppy was probably trying to protect you from something that's up there now. So be careful.
There's a mind flare right outside the door.
Yeah. Awesome. Can't wait to see you in LA in a couple of days.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, for sure. Me too. Thanks for having me down.
Very exciting.
All right, man. Well, thanks for calling in, and we'll see you very soon. Everybody tune in to watch Mr. Chris Funk perform at D&D Live.
Yes.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, thanks.
Fun.
So many funs.
Awesome.
This is going to be amazing.
Yeah, thank you so much.
No problem. We are going to close this all down. Thank you, everyone who is watching on Twitch. You are amazing people, all of you. I'm now logging into my thing so I can just see how amazing you are. We had no Wi-Fi, so I wasn't able to do that earlier.
We had no Wi-Fi?
We had no Wi-Fi. Is there Wi-Fi still down, Mr. Bart Carroll? You're on a hotline.
Hotspot. Hot pocket. Bart's on a hot pocket.
Yay. All right. So I don't think we don't need to record a B. Lori Should Know segment or anything like that. So I think we're done here, ladies and gentlemen.
Farewell.
To everyone in the chat, we have been doing this for a long time, this Dragon Talk here. We're going to be off for the next 2 weeks.
Sorry.
Yeah. We're going to be at D&D Live next Friday.
So not technically off.
Yeah. We'll be working.
We'll be doing Dragon Talk.
That's right.
Live. On the road.
And everything that has been happening for D&D Live will start in about 2 minutes and 7 days. It will be live.
Okay.
That's when it will start. I'm looking at the clock right now and saying it's all going to be happening very soon. So yeah, no Dragon Talk recording next week, just so everyone knows. And then the following week we'll also be off. We won't be back here in the studio recording until May 31st. And I'd be a much better producer and or host if I knew who we were going to be talking to.
Let's just surprise everybody.
I'm sure it's on the schedule. But now that I have a little bit of Wi-Fi, I might be able to actually look that up while we're doing this.
You got a little bit of Wi-Fi?
Is there anything that you wanted to say, Shelley, to all these people?
Just really excited for next week so we can talk about all the things that I can't talk about.
Right. I probably should have expected that.
And everyone's great. We love you all.
All of the people are great.
All of the people. If you have any bad reviews, you can send them to Greg. If you have good reviews, you can put them on iTunes.
Actually, we don't have anybody. Oh, no, we do. Oh, you know who we're going to talk to on May 31st? Who? I'll give you 3 guesses. One of them is that they also Dungeon Master for girls in middle school.
Oh, my God, Ethan?
Yeah, we're talking to Ethan Schoonover.
Yes, yay!
on May 31st, which is fantastic.
I'm so excited.
We've always,
That has been a long time
I've been
coming.
hearing about everything that he has been doing with his school here in the Seattle area, running a class, not just an after-school club
It's
for
basically
D&D.
a D&D school for girls now.
A D&D school for girls, right? Except we're bringing in all of our previous guests and things that are in here to make it all happen. So, yeah,
Oh, cool.
excited about that.
That's awesome.
So look forward to May 31st, that episode. We'll be back in the office here.
Can't wait.
I want to give a thank you to Matt for subbing
for
in here.
stepping in,
Thank
man.
you, sir. You're a good person. Yay!
Yay, Matt. Woo. Woo.
I also want to give a thank you to Bart Carroll.
Yay.
just for being Bart Carroll,
a real
I guess.
clap for Bart Carroll.
Yay, Shart.
Half
Go,
of that clap
Sharding.
goes to me.
And I want to give a round of applause to Shelly Mazanoble.
Yay,
Shelly!
And I will give a round of applause back to Matt.
Matt, for Matt,
Just
everybody.
kidding. To Greg Tito.
No.
For being the best co-host and the person who is bringing D&D live to all of us.
We are bringing it into the world.
He's doing a lot of work for our enjoyment.
For you.
For you. So you better watch. You better tune in.
Yes. So in case you were unaware, dnd.wizards.com/D&D Live 2019. I was like Shadow Stevens right there.
That was really good.
I'll take the center
In
square.
a world far away called Los Angeles.
We'll be back in 2 and 2. Wait, no, that's...
Well,
We
2
don't
weeks.
like that guy anymore.
Kind of.
Yeah, actually, right. We'll be back in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Or 3 weeks, really.
Or
On the third week, we will rise. All right, so thanks again, everybody. You are all wonderful. I think we're going to sign off here.
Let's do it.
Binwin Plays will begin at 3 p.m. Pacific time today, so that's about an hour. Watch as Scott Kurtz plays some amazing Idle Champions. But actually, it might be not Scott. I believe it actually is Actions Incorporated.
Oh, cool.
I'm just remembering that right now. So watch that. It is going to be fun, no matter what.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.